Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Art of Inspiration podcast. I have a really interesting guest today. He is a former mentor of mine. We had the opportunity to work together for quite some time. He's a good friend, and I've been trying to add as much value to my audience, everyone out there that's listening, that's an aspiring entrepreneur, that's looking to take their business to the next level. And this is my gift to you. Austin is a sales coach. He currently closes $150 to $200,000 in sales every single month. So if you are looking to build your business or you just want to be inspired, you need to listen up, guys. I hope you enjoy. Austin, thank you so much for joining us. How's it going?
That was a hell of an introduction. Thank you so much, man. I know you and I have been talking about doing this for a long, long time. So it's amazing that it's kind of finally coming to fruition on the last day of 2020 as we close out kind of a crazy year that we've all had. So super happy to be here, man. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. And I mean, I could sit here and I could talk about you for a long time because you've helped mentor me. We've worked together. You really took my business from what it was to what it is now, which is just amazing, thriving, great things going on. But I want to hear from you. Tell me a little bit about your story and tell everyone who you are.
Awesome. And before I do that, I think you mentioning us working together, the highlight of us working together, hands down, without a doubt, one night we had a coaching call. You said, I think I'm going to quit my job. You said, I think I'm going to leave my corporate job. And I said, Raf, if you leave your corporate job, you will make $30,000 in 30 days. And the next morning I woke up and you said, I quit. I did it. I left the corporate job. And then the rest is history from there. I don't think you quite hit the 30K mark. It was like 24, 26 or something like
I
that.
almost got there. Almost got there.
Yeah, but that's not the 30K wasn't the point. The point was you bet on yourself. You left the corporate job. You went out on your own, and incredible things happened. So I'm proud of you for that. And
Thank you, brother.
circling back to, of course, man. So circling back to my story, I mean, when it comes to entrepreneurship and who I am business wise, I feel like I've been the same entrepreneur and the same person since I was like 7 years old. I mean, literally when I was 7, I was going door to door with boxes of raisins. Like my mom's like, where the hell did Austin go? And I'm across the street with little boxes of raisins that I just took out of the pantry and tried to sell for $1. And then when I was 10, 11, 12, I started a weed business. And I would go to all of my neighbors and I would knock on their doors and I would ask to pull the weeds out of their grass and their flower beds. And it got hot. I live in Florida and I got tired. So I hired my friends. I said, hey guys, come on, we get paid $20 for this job when I was really getting paid 60, and I would just give them a couple dollars a piece. And, I started hiring people to help me, did fresh squeezed orange juice, sold candy in high school. I mean, I've just been kind of had that entrepreneurial knack my whole life. And when I turned 18, I joined network marketing, which was amazing. Everybody thought it was a scam and a scheme and the dumbest thing ever, but it led to incredible, incredible opportunities. I mean, I bet on myself when my whole fraternity told me I was dumb, when my parents said it was a bad idea. I mean, I really bet on myself and I went all in on network marketing, did some incredible things there, traveled and got to go to Tony Robbins and get coached by some of his coaches. And this is when I was 18. So I'm 26 now. This is 8 years ago, almost a decade ago. And that's where entrepreneurship really opened up with self-development and public speaking and just all kinds of different opportunities. And in college, I was doing the network marketing thing. And this is where things started to change because in a matter of 2 weeks, I went from being on top of the world. I mean, I was making $1,000 a week at 18. I thought I had hit the lottery. Like I was the richest man on earth. Like nobody could talk to me or touch me. Like I've made it. Right. And in 2 weeks, I went from $1,000 a week on top of the world to the lowest point I've literally ever been in my entire life within 14 days. And the network marketing company had some lawsuits and just some legal stuff that they ended up winning, but it did so much damage to the reputation. I lost a business of 1,500 people, almost $1,000 a week, if not more, to nothing in a matter of 2 weeks. And in that same time period, I had been dating a girl for a year and a half, and she actually got hit by a car. She was in the hospital for 10 days. So as I sat in the hospital while she was in a coma, I watched her wither away for 10 days. And at the exact same time, my business just withered and day by day got less and less and less and fizzled to nothing. And it was just this really humbling moment of, okay, life is very short. It's very unpredictable. You thought this business was forever. You thought this girlfriend was forever. And in the blink of an eye, it's pretty much all gone. And then went through some stuff there and, ended up bouncing back, recovering a couple years later, partnered up with my dad, took over his business and scaled it from 300,000 to 3 million in less than 3 years, which is really cool. And then left that company last November to kind of go out on my own, do sales coaching, mentoring, business coaching, stuff like that.
Wow. I mean,
that's full circle. That's all the way through from
yeah.
7 until 26. That's full circle.
And I know your story, but every time I hear it, it still kind of gives me chills. Now, I want to really just look back and reflect at something for a moment, because you were on fire. You were just born to be an entrepreneur. You were selling raisins as a young kid. And then you took this entrepreneurial journey, you bet on yourself, and life was on fire. Business was on fire. You had a great relationship. And almost in an instant, you lost your girlfriend and you lost your business all at once.
Yeah.
And I know where you are right now. You are crushing it right now, but it doesn't happen overnight.
Yep.
So talk to me a little bit about, how did you overcome that? What was the mindset shift that you made? And how were you talking to yourself through this whole time when you went through this turbulence in your life?
Yeah. And like you said, it really was in an instant. Like 14 days goes by like that. And everything was here one day and gone the next. And when all of that happened, I'll never forget, at the hospital, my business was pretty much gone, no coming back from that. And we were at the hospital. The doctor looked at us and said, she's not going to make it. We've done everything we can. She's in a medically induced coma. There's nothing else we can do. She's not going to make it. And in that moment, I had to make a decision. Like in a split second, the doctor looked at me. She's not going to make it. Her dad looked at me and said, I'm honored that my daughter was in love with you. I'll never forget those words. That was the first thing he said after he found out from the doctor. And when I left that hospital, I had to make a decision. And in that moment, I had to choose happiness. I had to choose fulfillment, because there's only one of two ways that you can go when you're put in a situation like that. And I'm sure everybody listening has been in situations similar or comparable, where you have to make a decision. You go up or you go down. There is no in between. So I had to choose that I'm going to go up, and that everything happens for a reason. I kept telling myself that. And I get that from my dad. He's instilled that in me ever since I was a little kid. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And I just kept repeating that to myself, but I didn't know what that reason was. I didn't know where it was going to lead me. I didn't know what it was going to do for me, what opportunities would come from it. But I had to believe and I had to trust that everything happens for a reason. And that was really what I told myself day in and day out. I didn't know the reason. I didn't care about the reason. And I didn't try and figure out the reason. I just released control. And I went day after day after day. I took care of my health more than I've ever taken care of my health. I self-developed and mentally took care of myself. I nurtured my family and my relationships and my fraternity brothers, and held close like I had never held close before, because I had never lost anyone before. I was very privileged to the point where I was 18, 19 years old. I had never had anyone close to me pass away, ever. So I didn't know what it was like to experience that. So I held everyone and everything close. I had immense amounts of gratitude for everything around me. But it was really the decision. It's this simple. You go up or you go down. Okay. You get a speeding ticket while you're driving home. You're going to go up or you're going to go down. Some people are going to get extremely pissed off. Oh my gosh, $264.70. I can't afford this. I'm already paycheck to paycheck. I got a flat tire last week and now I got a speeding ticket. If I get a speeding ticket, I'm going to leave that interaction with that officer. He's going to be better than I found him. So I'm going to make his day, even though he's giving me a $200 ticket. I'm going to make his day. I'm going to thank him because in my mind, I'm going to go up. And there's two things that are going to happen. A, I'm going to take responsibility. I was driving and I was speeding, so it's my fault. And I'm going to laugh and be like, shouldn't have done that. And then B, I'm going to trust that everything happens for a reason and that I got a $200 ticket, but what if I would have been in a head-on collision? What if this officer stopped me because something bad was up ahead and that was going to happen? And there's actually been a number of times where the line in the drive-through was too long. There's, a hang up on the interstate or whatever it is. And then when you go up the road a couple miles and you're upset and you're pissed off, oh, why is this taking so long? There's an accident and there's ambulances and people being airlifted. And you realize that if I was 10 minutes ahead of schedule, like I wanted to be, that would have been me. And I would have been in that accident. And so it's just trusting that everything happens for a reason, not trying to figure out exactly what the reason is. But one day, and I did eventually figure out what that reason was, and we can dive into that if you like, but it's not trying to figure it out right away. It's just trusting and knowing that it did happen for a reason.
I mean, that is utterly incredible. I think what really stood out to me first, that situation is hard for anyone. And as such a young man, that internal dialogue that you had with yourself, where you understood that you had to make a choice. And that's incredibly powerful, because as human beings, we always have that choice. We have that choice to interpret what happens to us any way that we want. And you chose to find something positive in there. You chose between happiness and darkness. And obviously we know what path you chose. So I, just as your friend, I got to say, that's one of the reasons why I love you so much. And for everyone else out there, that should be just a sign for you. If you're choosing something right now that's not serving you, that you have an opportunity to choose something different. So thank you for that. That was amazing.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, having a choice is power. And by blaming the world around us and blaming the officer and all these different things, you give away your power and you leave yourself just helpless because it's out of your control, but it's not. Every decision, every action, every thought is in your control. And when you understand that, you retain your power. But it means dropping the ego and taking responsibility. I was speeding, or I did this, or I did that. And when you take responsibility, it doesn't feel the best, but it keeps you empowered knowing that ultimately you are the decision maker. And if you can make decisions, you can make changes.
I love that. I love that. I can stay and talk about this, but let's move forward a little bit. I really want to give the audience here a tremendous amount of value, and what you've done for just me and so many other people, the impact that you've had in taking entrepreneurs who might be struggling and giving them the tools to really just build something amazing, build a business that can sustain you, take your passion and turn it into something that you do every single day. It's a skill set that not many people have. You have this knack for helping people, for looking at a business, diagnosing what's going on, and finding the best recipe. So for me, came in and just completely changed my world. So tell me just, and the rest of the audience here, a little bit about your business, what you do. You brought me into the high ticket sales arena, gave me the confidence and the skills to actually sell my offer and make my business happen. Talk to us a little bit about just sales, your psychology going into it, how you help other people.
Yeah. So I actually alluded to this a little bit earlier when I congratulated you for leaving your corporate job. And everything comes down to a very simple concept. You're either all in or you're all out. Just like you can go up, you can go down. There is no in between. You're all in or you're all out. It is what it is. If you're running your business today as part-time, you're all out. Things just don't work like that. You ever have a relationship where your foot is half in the door, half out? If she pisses me off, I'm out of here. You're destined to fail. If you're going half in, half out, and you're just hoping for good days and praying that things work out, you're all out, it's not going to work. And I find so many entrepreneurs today, you being one of them, who are kind of half in, half out. You have this high paying corporate job where you can fall back on it. And you're like, if my business works, great. But if not, I'm okay. I can still pay the bills. I can still take care of my family. When you left the corporate job, you became all in. And you've had consecutively your biggest months, month over month over month, since closing that door. Am I right?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it all comes down to being all in or all out. And the same thing is true in building a business. The same thing is true in closing a client. Like when I review sales calls, it's one of my favorite things to do is listening to recorded sales calls and then giving feedback and input every step of the way. I notice a common theme. And when it comes to price and it comes to objections, you feel that the entrepreneur is kind of like, if they join, that's cool. But like, if not, that's cool too. But if you're a fitness coach and you have a new mom who's 40 pounds overweight, who's struggling and about to go through a divorce because her weight has become such an issue in the marriage, it's not okay if she doesn't enroll, if you can truly serve and support her on the journey where you can help her family, help her marriage, and change her future. It's not okay. You have to go to war for this prospect, and you have to be so sold on your business, your offer, your price points, and your opportunity that people will feel that conviction. Most of the time, they won't even know what you're saying. Like, Raf, if you think back when I chatted with you and you enrolled into my offer with my girlfriend, Alyssa, you probably don't even remember what we were saying. You didn't remember all the deliverables and how many calls are we going to have? And do I get tech support? And is it on Zoom? You don't care if we host the whole coaching through Twitter. You just want results. And you can feel our conviction and our passion and our confidence that I don't know how we're going to do it. That's not really important. I just know that this is what I want. And these are the best people to step up and serve and support me on the journey. What does it cost? And as an entrepreneur, there can't be this half in the door, half out the door. We'll see what happens and just take a stab at it, because it never comes to fruition. And then you say, it's hard. My aunt tried one of those things 8 years ago and didn't make any money. So I'm just going to tread cautiously and see what happens. You're giving your power away to the world of just seeing what happens. If you want something to work, you go all in and you relentlessly pursue it day in and day out until it comes to fruition. And then you set the next goal and you achieve it. But it's got to be relentless. So sales calls, business, entrepreneurship, it all comes down to being all in and just relentless in the pursuit of whatever it is you want. Some people I meet, Raf, if they make $5,000 a month, they're the happiest people in the world. They can sustain their life. They have a business that doesn't require a ton of headache or maintenance. God bless them. Be relentless and build the business to that 5,000 a month. I meet other people who want to make 5 million a month. The exact same principles apply. The exact same things.
I love that. And, that's one of the things that I've really carried with me into my business. And whenever I go on the sales call, and I tell this to all my clients as well, that if you're out there and you're an entrepreneur and you indeed have what it takes to help somebody else, it's your job to give it to them.
Yep.
And that brings me to the point now, and I'll ask you a question. I know the answer. I know what it did for me, but there seems to be a lot of hesitation in the world when it comes to investing in yourself. I know there's so many people out there who continue to struggle and they don't seek the help that they need because they're scared of making the investment. What's your advice?
Yeah. I love the question. And it comes down to looking and just being honest with yourself. And let's just say you have an offer. I don't know, we'll keep things simple. It's 10K. People get hung up on the number 10K, 10K, 10K. How am I going to do it? Oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. I've never spent that much money before. What if it doesn't work? What if the coach sucks? And they just spend so much time focused on 10K, but they fail to see the tens of thousands and hundreds, if not millions of dollars that they're leaving on the table by not making that investment. So people sell themselves on scarcity and all the reasons why they can't make a financial decision or a financial investment, when they should be looking at the other side of the field and saying, who am I not to make this investment. If I have a coach here who can lay out a game plan A to Z and it works, if I work, all I have to do is follow directions and be coachable and work hard day in and day out, and I will see the results. Who am I not to make this investment? And people just get hung up on a number, and that's all they see. And they forget about the value. They forget about the future progress that they're going to make. And at the end of the day, you're going to meet yourself a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And me 10 years from now is going to look at me and shake my hand in the coffee shop and say, thank you for going into debt to make that investment. Thank you for draining the savings in the 401k and taking a second mortgage on the home to invest in that mentor, that product, that business, that service, whatever it may be, because that was the catalyst that got me to where I am today, a year, 5, 10, 20 years from now. And it's really simple. If you look at all the most successful people in the world, what do? They read books, which is an investment in themselves, and they hang out with people who are smarter than they are. And a lot of times they pay for that access. They pay for that knowledge. And you might look at 10K, but you also have to look at this entrepreneur, this coach, this mentor, this program. These people have spent, a lot of them, decades and hundreds of thousands of dollars to understand this information and then package it up nice and neat and hand deliver it to you for $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, whatever it may be.
I love that. I love that. And, you know, a lot of it at the end of the day is bet on yourself. Like,
Yep.
always bet on you. So, I mean, you've taken us on quite a journey. I mean, through some heartbreaks that you had early on in your life, your business, how you help people. I'd love to know, and you've had a lot of wins in your life. What do you truly consider to be your breakthrough, and what's your definition of success?
Super easy question, because it comes right to mind. My biggest breakthrough was sitting on a beach in Mexico the very first week of November 2019. And I was sitting on a beach. My girlfriend was beside me, had a margarita in my hand at an all-inclusive resort. And I started crying, just broke down. She kind of looks over and she's like, you have a bug in your eye? Like, are you really crying, or do you have like something in your eye? And I was hysterical and just broke down crying. And I looked at her, and although had it all, quote unquote, and had made it and had built, you know, a business to helped build it to $3 million a year with my dad, and 32 employees and 10 trucks and all these clients, you know, from the outside looking in, I had made it. But internally, I was fucking miserable. I wasn't happy. It wasn't where I wanted to be. It wasn't the business I wanted to be in. And I broke down on that beach and I said, I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. This is not where I want to be. And she looked at me and said, what do you need to do? And I said, I need to quit, which is very difficult because my dad's my best friend. He'll be the best man at my wedding. He's my business partner at this point. I mean, we're out on the boat all the time together. I mean, this is my family. And if I leave, I mean, in 2019, I sold $1.2 million worth of contracts by myself. You know, I'm a pretty important piece of the puzzle here at the company. And I knew what that was doing to him, my stepmom, you know, who's the accountant, my grandma who does the inventory. Like this is a business that's supporting my family. And I said, I need to leave. And I got back on Sunday. I walked into work 6:30 in the morning on Monday, and I quit. And didn't give my dad a 2 weeks, which I don't recommend. I wish I could go back and give him 2 weeks, but I didn't give him a 2 weeks. And I told him, I said, I can't do it anymore. And in that moment, it was the hardest moment I've ever had to genuinely choose myself. I had to selfishly show up for myself rather than putting him and the business and the clients and everyone else before me, because I just wasn't genuinely fulfilled. And in that moment, I had no money saved up, no idea what I was going to do, what business I was going to build, where I was going to go. But my girlfriend bet on me and said, hey, I will help financially until we figure things out. So she bet on me, which was amazing. But I just had this massive breakthrough by choosing myself in the face of family and business and in the world, saying, oh my gosh, you've made it. You're so successful, all of this stuff. And it was really scary. But now that I'm on the other side of it, it kind of leads me to my definition of success. Because when I left and had no money stacked, I had no opportunity, I didn't know where I was going to go, what I was going to do, I chose happiness. And my definition of success, it has to be, even when you have nothing, you're still happy, you're still fulfilled, you're still kind to people, and you still understand that everything happens for a reason. Because so many people, they wait. Oh, when I wait and when I hit six figures, when I get that promotion, when I have another kid, when I get remarried, when I get divorced, everybody's waiting for something to be happy and fulfilled. But if you're just sitting around waiting, again, you give away your power. You have to be happy right now. I can have a goal of 500,000 a month in sales. That's fantastic. That's the goal. But it doesn't mean I attach all of my happiness to that outcome. I can be happy and fulfilled and confident and joyous and abundant right now. Even if I'm selling nothing, like zero, nothing, I can still be happy, satisfied, and fulfilled. And that's what makes me successful. A lot of people wait, and you can't wait, because what if that day never comes? What if you never do get remarried? Are you just never going to be happy? You have to take responsibility for where you are and be grateful for it and be thrilled about it. And that energy, that momentum, that abundance, that's going to attract the goal that you're seeking. But if you're unhappy because you don't make $500,000 a month, then you're admitting to the universe that you don't have it. And then the universe just gives you more of what? The same: lack, scarcity, sadness. So, success in a nutshell: being happy at any stage of your life, whether you have the money, you have the success, or not. You're always striving for more. I always say, when you hit a goal, it's a nice place to visit, not a nice place to stay. Visit, reminisce, enjoy. What's the next goal? And you keep moving. But either way, you're fulfilled and you're abundant and you're happy at all stages, even when you have absolutely nothing.
I love that. And that's a lesson for everyone out there that's listening. And it was a hard lesson for me to learn in my life. And I actually learned this as I was kind of climbing the corporate ladder. And I said, oh, I want to get here. I want to get there. And I realized that the happiness lasted for about 2 weeks until I was looking forward to something else. So
Exactly.
I love that. Be happy no matter what. I don't think there's a better piece of advice out there. That's the, like, what is life worth if you don't have happiness? So
Exactly.
Austin, I mean, you've given us so much, and everyone out there is probably wondering, like, this guy's awesome. He's an entrepreneur. He can help me with my sales. Where can people find you? How do they get in touch with you? And if you want to talk about your coaching program and how you can help other people.
Yeah, the easiest way to connect is just Instagram. I'm a firm believer that in 2020, and as we roll into 2021, you don't need fancy websites and all these fancy URLs and all this stuff. I mean, Instagram's the easiest way to connect. It's just AMEDSS, AMEDS. That's it. So that's the easiest way to find me. The only way to connect with me.
Awesome. So I will make sure that I put that in the show notes. And before I let you go, I did mention that I have a surprise question.
Yep.
So I asked this to everyone, and it's a little bit of a funny question, but here goes. So let's say you're one of those people that was boarding one of the SpaceX rockets and you were heading off to the moon. It's your last day on Earth. You're never going to be here again. You're not going to be able to communicate with people. You're just heading out. And we gave you a box. And inside that box, you're going to put something that you want the world to know or remember you by. It could be a piece of advice. It could be anything that you want it to be. It can be some words of affirmation, anything. And you're going to leave it behind for the world to hopefully make it a better place. Mm. What are you putting inside that box?
That's a really good question. I can't decide if I want to put something materialistic or some words, but I think words are more powerful than materials. So, man, it really ties down, because I've gotten through the literal toughest days of my life. Like, literally the toughest days where I've just repeated to myself, you go up or you go down. There is no in between. And I apply that to everything. I get off a call that didn't go my way. I set a goal of 250,000 for the month and I come up short at 180 or 220. You go up or you go down. You learn or you don't. So I would have to say for every situation, you get bad service at a restaurant, you get rear-ended, you get COVID. I mean, literally whatever it is, every situation is either here to serve us and support us. You go up or you go down and you allow it to negatively impact your day, your mood, your month, your year. I mean, the amount of people I see complaining about 2020, I get it. It was hard and everything got flipped up on its head, but you go up or you go down. You know how many people realized, oh, wow, I'm at home. I have all this extra time. I'm finally going to go all in and pursue my passion. And they've made hundreds of thousands and some of the millions of dollars in the past 8 months. You go up or you go down. But the great thing is, it's your choice. You get to choose which direction you go with every single situation in your life.
Wow. that was a deep one. And
I need a big box for all that to fit it all in.
Yeah. And that's directly to the point. I mean, that hit me in the chest, and I'm sure that's leaving everyone out there something to contemplate in your own life. And remember that you always have the opportunity to go up. So yep. Austin, I mean, this has been amazing. You've took us on a journey through your life. You've took us a little bit in the world of your business, and you left us with just a remarkable thought, something that we can all take into our lives and realize that at any moment in time, no matter what's happening in the outside world, that we have an opportunity to go up should we choose to go in that direction. So yep. Thank you so much for everything. I hope everyone out there enjoyed this. I hope you're inspired. I hope you're fired up and ready to make 2021 the best year of your life. There is amazing opportunity out there if you are looking for it. Austin, thank you so much. Again, entrepreneur, sales coach, all around, just an incredible human being, really good friend of mine. And I'm going to have to assume that you're just getting started, my friend. So yep. To you and everyone else out there, I will see you all at the top. Thanks so much, my man.
Thank you so much for having me, Raph.